We are recording.
We are live. Welcome to the Board of Assessors meeting for the town of Lunenburg. Today, June 11th, we are in the lower level, rear building, lower level. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised this meeting is being recorded and not being broadcast live over the Lunenburg Public Access channel on Facebook Live on the Public Access Facebook page, which is https://www.facebook.com/lunenburg-public-access-cable-1574277275305/. The recording can be found at the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting, in all likelihood tomorrow morning. The meeting will be held in person at the location provided on this notice, which we noted earlier was the lower level of the Ritter Building. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting will not be suspended nor terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with a particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual meeting attendance accordingly. For remote participation from a computer, please use the link that I will read to you to join the public meeting webinar. It is https://us02web.zoom.us/j/81152002194. Again, that meeting ID is 811-520-2194. From a telephone, you may dial the toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter the webinar ID, which we just mentioned, one more time for those of you at home. 811-520-2194 #. If you've not registered for Zoom, you'll be asked for your name and an email address. No participation ID is required, just press the # when asked. Telephone users may dial *9 to request to speak after joining the meeting. Computer and app users may use the raise hand feature to request to speak. The agenda lists all topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by open meeting law. One other thing I need to read, I think, regarding Zoom. If I can find it. Please bear with me for just a minute. Okay. Additionally, please be advised that the town of Lunenburg utilizes the Zoom platform as a host for its hybrid and remote meetings. That Zoom platform utilizes AI technology known as AI Companion to create audio transcriptions of meetings to aid in the subsequent preparation of meeting minutes. And that AI Companion is activated immediately upon launching Zoom application. You are hereby notified that this AI technology may capture audio prior to the start of the meeting and/or following the conclusion of the meeting. I will now call the meeting to order. Let's do a quick introduction.
Sarah Cameron.
Brian LaFond.
Linda McQuaid.
Thank you. Any board discussion?
I have one comment.
Please.
I wanted to thank our new Board of Selectmen, Brian Layton. I'm sorry if I'm saying that
Layton.
wrong. I noticed that he had provided an excellent summary to the select board about our last meeting. And I wanted to encourage him to post and announce that we have a vacancy on this board and we would like it filled. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll hold off on any further comments until the end if we need to. If there's anyone from the public,
I don't see anybody on there.
then we'll be all done with opening comments. We will open this to the status report from the principal assessor.
All right, we've been quite busy in the office coming to year end. This is just like a summary of everything within the past month. We had 7 abutters lists. Robin had processed 17 motor vehicle excise tax abatements. We did actually get quite a few residents that came in this week because the demand bills were sent, so we've had quite a bit of activity with that. And also the 2 motor vehicle commitments, commitment number 2 and commitment number 3. The bills went out on Monday, and we've had a lot of traffic with that. So we should be getting a lot more excise tax abatements coming in. Chapter land, we have gotten through almost all the applications, and Robin has now organized them by address. Instead, they were formally filed by names, which was making it difficult because a lot of the chapter lands, was more than one property in there. So we reorganized that. I have 4 properties that do not have liens nor have applications, and I've actually, in the process, hopefully going to have the rollback taxes on these properties. One of them unfortunately sold, and because there was no lien, it sold, and now we have to go back to the seller who should have paid the rollback taxes. But this is the problem, is the chapter land wasn't really, it's been years of, not really being monitored. So we have had about 4 residents that didn't have liens, have paid the fee, and we are making an appointment with the registry of deeds and filing those liens so that we have at least control of that. So we're hoping to, at least be able to, going forward, there won't be any issues with liens and all that.
Were those all agricultural?
The one that sold was a 61B, which was a recreation. I did actually start the rollback on that. I'm going to go back. Well, the property was purchased in 22, so I'm going to do 23, 24, and 25, and it just sold. In addition to it selling, I happened to notice that the mapping was a mess on it, so I've reached out to Andrea and Brian Gingras to assist with the map, because
Andrea and Brian are?
the building department and the Board of Health, who have been very helpful in trying to help us
Just
resolve.
want to make sure anybody that's watching knows who they are.
Resolve some of these deed issues. As far as with deeds, I have 2 right now that I haven't been able to resolve. We were hoping to have this done because we just did the prelim bills today. The consultant came in, but unfortunately these deeds won't be recorded because we haven't been able to figure out really the addresses, the parcel IDs, kind of vague. So if the homeowner happens to call the new owner, we're just going to have to explain it, and hopefully we'll have a resolution. But I did spend quite a bit of time on one of the deeds, and it's difficult because without a parcel ID and some reference.
I'm sorry?
This looks a little, no, this isn't the right meeting.
I don't know. This is the right meeting for us, but is it for you?
I think it's our meeting.
Board of
Where's
Assessors?
the rest of our people? Okay, thank you.
What
You're
meeting
welcome.
are you looking for?
Cultural Council.
Oh, I don't know where
I
they're
just heard
meeting.
voices down here.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome to stay.
Oh,
Why do you always get a laugh out of
we do.
that? Nobody wants to stay for the assessors meeting. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So I think we've done really well with organizing all these properties, and
Yep.
the next thing is Denise and I are going to need to start doing inspections per the DOR directive to start inspecting a lot of these chapter lands. So that's going to be the next thing that we have to do.
So you're
I'm
gonna
hoping
do these
July.
in some kind of sequence, like agricultural first,
Yeah, and then recreation.
recreation second, and
Yeah.
then just plain 61?
Yeah.
Do we need to inspect plain 61 as well? I think we do.
I think all of them, need to be.
So we'll
So
do
we have a
them
lot of work
in a sequence, but we have
ahead of us.
a
Yeah.
few years to finish. We really like to get
We
it
do.
cleaned up as quickly as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so we've made a lot of headway there. I'm hoping with this one that just sold, I mean, without a lien, I don't know if the seller is even gonna be liable to pay the rollback taxes, that's a problem. So.
For those of you who aren't familiar, if you put a piece of property into chapter, especially, well, chapter 61A is the agricultural one, and you're supposed to open up a lien so that in the case that the property is sold, we can claw back and the property is taken out of agriculture, we can claw back some prior year's taxes. Having said that, without the lien, and there's supposed to be a lien on all of them, but we found several that aren't, that are being corrected as we speak. Without the lien, we have very little leverage to collect those back taxes. Is that a fair?
That is fair,
Okay.
and without the lien, that's why the property was able to transfer to,
Should have been with a lien.
yeah.
Yeah.
If it had a lien, it would have been caught at least by the attorney.
Yes.
Yeah. So I am gonna send out the rollback tax with a letter and we'll see what happens. That's really all I can do
Yep.
at this point.
You sending it to the seller or to the buyer?
To the seller,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Our cyclical inspections are coming to the last phase of the 500 that we had contracted for fiscal 2025. And Josh from Vision actually started up on June 4th. So we've just restarted. He had a little 3-week break. So we've been updating the website and Facebook to the best of our ability, sending out the postcards as quickly as we can. I know there's been a few residents that have called that want daily updates. It's just not feasible for us to do that. It's difficult because I don't know what streets. I'm just trying to do the best we can with the information.
But can tell them that they're planned this week. We don't know what the weather holds.
Yeah.
We don't know several things that
it's
we
difficult.
can't know.
How long it'll take at each
Mhm.
location.
Yeah, we don't. And he tries to do it by the location, the distance.
Right.
Gotta work that way.
There's too many other variables.
Oh, it's difficult, but he does leave a yellow door hanger, so if someone is not there, at least that's his notice to them that he was at the property. He measured the exterior, and we have gotten some calls. We're starting to do interior inspections.
Oh, good.
Denise and I have been doing that, so
What does the yellow sticker hanger say?
it just says that he was there and to call the office for an interior inspection. Yeah,
So, okay.
yeah, that there's more information needed.
Identified as the Lunenburg Board of Assessors?
Lunenburg
Okay.
Assessors, yep,
That's
that an
right.
inspection has
Poke
been
at.
made. Yeah.
Not something from Vision that nobody knows what Vision is.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
definitely identified for the Lunenburg Assessors
Thank you.
Office. And the phone calls do come, phone number is to our office.
Yep.
So that is about it. In addition to that, the town manager had asked that I start drafting a response to the Select Board Investigation Report of 2023, which has not been released. So I did actually spend a couple days doing that.
That's the investigation that was
2 years old.
28 months. Who's counting? That was submitted to the board, the select board, 2 weeks prior to the election, and then a final copy was submitted the last meeting before the election. But the select board has not released the investigation yet, but we have to start trying to respond to it.
Yeah, there's tons of typos in it, I guess.
It's well, yes, it's fine. We'll most of the findings in there indicate that the directives from the state should fix our problems. So we will respond to the directives.
Yeah.
We've actually started a lot of as regular practice, the functions of an assessor, we've already started a lot of those. We follow up on sales.
I mean, the short story is the work that was supposed to be done had not been getting done for
Yeah.
a long time. An assessor tried to adjust some of the properties, did not adjust all of the properties. And there were some other options and how that was done, that could have been taken into account.
So not to talk back to what the
Yes.
investigation is, but we, as a board, when we were fully impaneled, decided that there were some things that needed to be done. So we've already started to address a lot of things that are in the investigation, and some things that are not,
Yeah,
like open communication, having the meetings at a time when people could actually come to them, a whole bunch of other things that we've done along the way. So we've tried to address things prior to the investigation being published. So we can talk about our status on that.
and we continue to have additional things done, like new growth is being inspected. All
Yep.
those DR objectives are already being
Right.
looked at.
Probably the most important thing to note is there was 427 abatements
Mhm.
in 2023. In '24, we had, what, 42? And last year, we had 37. So
Mhm.
we are...
Which goes back to historical levels, because you go back a couple of years, we were at 41.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're back to historical levels of abatement requests or applications, which is not shocking.
No. But we still have there's still a lot of work to do. Every day we seem to find something, and we just, when it comes up, we just address it. And I think we've got a great staff, and we work really hard. And
Well, I'm sorry you have to spend the time addressing that 2-year-old document.
well, I was
But
asked to do it. It's
I
just,
think it's useful to explain exactly how the office
It's not a
works.
2-year-old document.
Oh, you're right.
it's
A fresh document from
Yeah.
something from 2 years ago that we have already been addressing.
Right.
yeah. I was asked to do it, and I did it. It's just, there's just so many other things. It's my stack of paperwork just seems to be growing.
Pretty craven to
It-
take 2 years to put it out.
Yeah, but we have to move forward, and,
Yes.
and that's what we've done in the office. We're just doing the best we can to get everything organized, and our files, we actually have to,
Yeah, and just an example of that is all the stuff that you're finding out about chapter land and taking care of and addressing.
yeah. Yep. My concern is that just the time I've got to get out of the office more and start doing more inspections with
Mhm.
Denise, because Denise is only 19 hours a week.
Mhm.
And with everything that we need to do to inspect, I don't seem to get out as much as I should be getting out, so that we can get all this other work done.
So are you guys both going together? Is that something you can divide and conquer?
I think a concern was made by a police officer that's also a resident, had felt that it wasn't safe for us to go out individually, especially to chapter land. I guess there was an incident a couple of years ago. So we have decided, we both have spoke with the police chief. We both have mace. We don't need a license for that. We're going to bring that with us, but we're also going to be on the same street together and try to do it that way, because we don't feel comfortable.
Not necessarily the same property, but the same street. So
At least-
within
at
shouting
least-
distance.
Yeah, at least so we're together. We cannot ask an officer to escort us. That just opens up an area of other concerns, so we can't do that.
No
But
inspections from the water?
we are thinking, we are thinking of being creative by utilizing the police boat to do some inspections, so that we can see an accurate view of along the lake. So that's something that we're planning on,
That's a great idea.
which actually might save us postage with postcards. I mean, we'll post something on Facebook, but we won't have to enter on people's property. And
So you're gonna have like sunscreen, a broad hat, and binoculars?
yeah, we're gonna have. My thought is we're gonna bring our maps, and we're gonna have our property record cards, and we're just gonna go right down the line. I might even ask Jack if he can assist us with Hickory Hills.
That might be different, but that's fine.
So that we're just thinking.
Former member Jack Rabbit.
Yeah. So that's something that we're thinking of, and I mentioned to Denise, the chapter land really does need to be inspected. And
Yep.
I think just with what we found with the liens, no applications, we're trying to force that. The 61B, we really need to get out and inspect that and,
On my way to, just around town, I found some chapter land that is definitely having bulldozing going on, for
Oh.
example.
yeah, if you could give me those properties, yeah.
It was accidental, it was on my way to a place.
No, it wasn't accidental on
Oh,
the property owner's part.
Yeah,
hopefully it wasn't from this property that just sold.
We'll see.
But we'll see.
We won't mention any properties,
No, no,
but we can follow up on them.
yeah. So that's gonna be actually be our focus because the weather is nice right now. So I'm hoping, I'm gonna be actually, next week I have a class. On Monday, I'm taking a couple personal days, using up my time. And then the week of the 23rd, I'll be in Plymouth for the Assessor conference. And then when we come back, I think our focus is gonna be just to get out and start inspecting.
Unfortunately,
I saw the goal for next month is to work on the neighborhoods, so if you do have an Excel spreadsheet for me, I could make that stuff for you, but I
Okay.
haven't gotten that.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm sorry, we've been,
it
It's just
won't,
I'm going to be traveling soon as well,
Yeah.
so
yeah,
if you want that, I kind
Yeah.
of need it.
yeah. I haven't had time to do that yet. We're actually trying to figure out what the scope of work for that. So I'm gonna try to do that with.
Well, if you end up with a consultant in the office, if it's the person I think it is, they were able to do that pretty quickly from Vision
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, yeah, that's my thought. Just waiting on some more directive on that. So the other thing too is I don't have a growth number for you right now, but
when's it due?
well, we're going to be actually focusing on June 30th as our date. So we're going to, I'm hoping by July we'll have a final number. We've been working diligently, and then the inspections that Vision brought in, I sent a big mailing to them. They're going to actually enter them, but we pulled all of the additions, decks, porches, all that. I pulled it last night, and I thought that we should do that ourselves because we can take that as growth. If we give it to them, we won't get that back. So Denise is going to put those in. And I have to say, I mean, even though Vision's been doing the inspections, it's been a tremendous amount of work for us between the mailings, just monitoring everything. It's more than what we really anticipated. So that was something that has been.
When do you think you're gonna start putting together the sales information?
Vision I'm surprised I haven't gotten a call from them because last year they called in July.
Because I really want to push them to get it to us
Yeah, so
before the end of, like,
September 30th is what their contract says.
yeah. So they should start feeding us some of the information, so
Yeah.
it's not a giant dump on September 30th where we can't ask any questions.
Yeah.
Which,
What happened last year.
Mm-hmm.
and it continues to get
Yeah.
delayed and delayed and
Yeah.
delayed, which means we can't provide the oversight that we should be able to provide.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
agree.
And if we're gonna pay them, they need to do the job.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. Randy Mercier was in the office today, and
He's not Vision.
No.
he's the Munis consultant.
Yes.
And I have to say, he is worth having come in the office. He resolved so many issues. I guess we just got a new bridge for the personal property. There's still issues with that. He was able to use the bridge from Fall River, which is what he did last year. He was able to get the files all set. The prelim bills will go out the end of this month. And we had some issues with some parcel IDs. He was able to help me with that. I must have ran the Vision file 5 times, but we got it done. And it's just well worth the assistance in coming in and helping us with that. So that was a big help there. But all of the new owners will be in that new file. So, with the exception of these 2 deeds. But we're up to date on our deeds, so anybody.
We're up to date on our deeds.
We are up to date on our deeds, yeah. Robin So,
Huge, Herculean effort.
yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, yeah.
And thank you.
So, yeah, I know, it's a relief. So we're really trying to make sure that, our file's correct. And Denise is doing a great job. She really is. And I did an inspection on Monday. I think I told you about a resident had called. So I went out and made some corrections there. So it's, I think between the cyclicals and just following up on permits, I think we'll definitely get back to where we need to be.
So you'll
So-
please keep us in the loop on anything that you're reporting for new growth, because we'd really
Yes.
like to be familiar with that.
I will, yeah. Yeah, I know
If we're
our,
if we're gonna provide any oversight whatsoever, we need to have data.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
And our next meeting, I will be remote, so I will need to have that electronically.
Okay,
we'll talk about next meetings later,
yeah. Is July,
because,
okay, will be,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
right now, it's proposed for July 13th, for July 16th,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
And we may maintain that, but,
yeah. Let me just make sure that okay. One of our items under current business is there, so I'll wait till we get to that to discuss it. So that's pretty much it. It's just been very busy, and we're trying to get everything done. I did also submit, I gave you a copy of the omitted and revised. That was submitted tonight to DOR. And the 13A, which is, LA 13A is the additional growth that wasn't submitted. That will be submitted tomorrow.
do we need to sign any of this stuff online?
No, I actually was, last year I submitted it, so we got the reminder from
Fine.
Becky at BLA to send it over.
Yep, it's fine.
So,
Good.
so we're starting our whole process over again.
Yeah.
Yep, in Gateway.
You mentioned chapter lands. We also have agricultural permanent restrictions, APRs.
Yep,
And you didn't mention that here, so I thought we'd make sure to talk about that today.
we should, I actually have a lien for you to sign,
that's-
so we can wait till
That does,
sign.
you want to stay on that, that's still chapter.
Yeah.
There's no liens on APRs, so let's
Right,
go ahead and finish the chapter discussion.
Let's-
Well, no, that's part of the signings, so we'll just do that
we'll
during
wait,
signings.
okay, for the invoices.
So if a piece of property has an APR, that means that the state of Massachusetts has purchased the development rights from the agricultural property owner. Those properties can't be valued any more than if they were in chapter 61A. They also are not eligible to be put into chapter 61A because they are already APR land, they are already agricultural by definition. So any 61A applications that come in for something that's already under APR, the application is superfluous, it's not necessary, and there's no lien required. So after a bunch of research on this one, it was like, we probably have, and I thought we had just a few, we discovered we have quite a number of lands or properties already in APR. I just want to make sure we don't have any duplications between 61A and APR. So we need to double check that.
Yeah.
I don't think we do, but I don't know that we don't.
Well, as far as, I know Rita and I went through these, as far as, I know you mentioned they can be valued at 61A
Or less.
or less, and they are valued at 61A, most of them. So we did verify that.
Yep, but I just want to make sure we don't have applications for 61As coming in on land that's already has an agricultural restriction on it.
Yeah.
We should just reject them.
Yeah, I think with us reorganizing all the chapter land by address.
Yes, it's gonna help
that's
a
gonna
lot.
help, but, yeah, that will definitely help a lot. And just on this list, I don't see any that.
That's okay. You don't need to do the research
Yeah.
right now. And in fact, I know you guys have been looking at it. I
We
just want
have.
to make sure that Sarah was on board and knew
Yeah.
what was going on here.
Yeah,
That we have several different things, that chapter land is one, but another is the APR. So there was at some point a negotiation with the landowners. They took some amount of money from the state so that they would no longer have the capability of doing
Doing
development.
anything else on it? Yeah, it's.
There is a really convoluted process for getting out of APR, and nobody undertakes it because it's so difficult.
Yeah, you really have to decide you're doing that.
Once you've done it, it's done.
Yeah.
But then you don't need to do 61A, we don't need liens. That land is in perpetuity
yeah.
restricted.
There is so much work with this chapter land. I am actually going to try to do in my spare time some kind of a spreadsheet similar to what I did for the exemptions, because just with the volume of work and there's just so much that's involved with it. We get asked questions all the time. So Robin just said, Linda, it's just so involved. I said, I know, I'm going to try to do almost like a checklist.
Yep.
Because we,
What did we say, how many properties are in APR?
16.
No,
That-
that got changed.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I got the list.
Somebody
right
came
here,
back
but-
to me and said it was not 60. Oh, no, it
One,
was
two,
originally
three.
3. That's what it
Yeah.
was. Somebody said 3, and then I went back and checked. No, there's 16
There's
of them.
16 on this spreadsheet,
Yeah. So there's,
16.
I counted.
Oh, okay, okay, good. I do see
APRs?
here, 598, site address 598 Lemonster Road. There's like 2 of them and one has an E at the end of it,
Yeah.
so,
East and,
yeah, I don't know
West.
what that is
it's a little
there.
bit of follow-up on that one, yeah.
But to make sure it's not a duplicate.
How many 61As do we have?
Oh, God.
Or do we know that? If we
I
don't
don't-
know it, can we find
Yeah,
that out for
yeah,
sometime?
find that out.
Yeah,
I'd like to
can
know how
find it
many
out.
61s, 61As, and 61Bs there are.
Oh, wait a minute. I might be able to tell you that.
We had a little bit of discussion on that number last time, I think. Well, the number processed.
Right. And we know that we're following up and creating liens for many of the 61As. So,
When I did the,
it's okay. It's an open meeting, but nobody ever wants to stay.
I know. Well, this is just the list that this came from Munis after. It's actually the LA4, so that kind of tells you right here. The 61.
61A, is that 14?
So
Trying to look across this
There's,
line, it's impossible to see.
there's 14,
14 61,
61s,
61s, 24.
and
Okay.
16 61Bs, total of 64. Just seems like there's more than that, though. Just what's going through everything, but. So that's what I showed, just based on what was run
Well, after
today.
you've got all the liens figured out, you'll
Yeah.
have the number.
Right.
We'll have a better idea.
Right.
Robin actually has a spreadsheet, so
Perfect.
we have tons of spreadsheets with information, and she's got it categorized by all the letters she sent out. And we have all the ones that have applications, all the ones that didn't have liens, so she's done a great job just putting all that together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't addressed here, I don't know where to address it, so I just wanted to address it now. The 41A application that we had rejected, they're still following up. I did discover through some communication with town council that we may still negotiate with them prior to them going to ATB,
Okay.
as long as they're still within their appeal period, which is 90 days, which would put them to mid-July. So I don't have to talk about any particulars about that property,
Yeah.
including anything personal about those folks.
No?
But we can continue to do that. We have gotten a indication that the bank will approve. So what I've told the representatives from that team is that they need to get the bank statement, they need to get the application completed and signed by all the parties, so that it was 100% done, and that if they're gonna have a representative working with them, they need some documentation that that representative is working for them.
Okay.
Having said that, I also said, don't bring it to us on July 14th and tell us that you need it by July 15th, because we will not have had a chance to really spend any time reviewing the documentation. So I'm trying to light a fire.
So I can be prepared to meet earlier, should we need to in July.
So my point about the meetings was we might need to have a one-subject
Yes.
meeting about a 41A application
I'd be happy to do that.
that had been denied.
Yeah.
So,
Rollback taxes too, if we could add that to that, because,
we don't want to take up all of our time. Yes, we could talk about what would potentially be on an earlier agenda
Yeah.
than July 16th. So that takes care of that one, I think.
Yep.
Something else that came across our desks a few weeks ago was a property at 222 West Townsend Road, and I believe we need to make a motion on if that's okay to let it just go, or if we should do something about it. If you recall the,
Oh, is that a open,
Yeah, there was an email that came through from Jen,
so both conservation and
yeah.
did they pass?
somebody else said, let it
Was that
go.
one?
As far as
Was
us,
open space one?
we have to approve or not,
Yeah.
and I think there's really no reason for us to not approve.
Yeah, it was, has open space looked at it?
Open space did, yes, that was the other one.
And they waived it
Conservation
out.
and open space said that, I don't care
Then I
about
think
it.
we just approve it.
So,
Okay.
I'll,
I motion to move it out of chapter land. Is that what we're?
I think that it was under chapter, yeah, 220.
To approve,
For the property was
Potential.
222 West Townsend Road, and
for potential sale.
yep,
And I'm actually gonna be starting the rollback, that was one of my things, I'm trying to.
that is,
start.
it's one of the ones with the
Yeah.
So
rollback.
that's the motion, at
Yeah.
222 West Townsend Road.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We don't have to roll call because we're in person. So we will let that one happen. And you can send a formal note from the board back to the initiator. I think it was town manager.
Yeah,
And you will have seen what the other two boards wrote. We can write something very similar. It just basically says we passed it today.
yeah.
Thank you. I was kind of surprised it wasn't on here somewhere. I hadn't thought of it
Yeah,
until,
I was going to actually, I do have that on my desk, and there was an email that was sent that went, I just don't have it in front of me, so, yeah.
but we needed to make a motion. We're all set,
Yeah.
so,
Yep.
thank you.
Okay.
I have some
You have what?
session, I have some executive session for you to, the
Oh,
minutes.
yeah, we're not at minutes yet.
Oh,
One more
go ahead.
thing I need to mention was and I don't know how to do this cautiously, around the development or the corrections to the neighborhood review. The suggestion around seasonal, I don't know how we deal with that because it didn't come from us. Linda has approached the town manager and they are looking into the legality of putting on a seasonal employee to help us with that activity.
Hmm.
Is that a fair
Yeah.
way to put that?
Yeah,
You and I didn't know about that until after it had already been suggested, so
Okay.
it's not a terrible suggestion, I just kind of would like to have been notified. But anyway, we don't know when we're gonna get some resolution on that.
I'll keep you posted, I haven't heard anything
Okay.
back on that.
Okay.
And that sort of leads to the scope of work thing you talked
Yeah.
about, so.
I see.
Yeah,
So we may or may not have to do much in the scope of work, Rain, if we decide to do it all in-house with a seasonal employee.
Okay.
Is that
that is
said okay?
fair, yes.
Okay,
We can wait and see.
We can wait and see when,
right,
Okay.
yeah.
right.
But I have been thinking a lot of looking at that neighborhood map I even asked Brian Gingras, the building inspector, who came up with this? Because there's just no rhyme or reason. It's almost like taking paint and just splatting it on a wall. There's
Well,
no,
I'm happy to share what people came up with about that.
What's his
Yeah.
name? Basquiat? Was that the guy?
it's just,
It's no Monet, that's for sure.
oh. Well, I was talking to Ellen, and I looked at the zoning map, and I said, you know what? That's probably where we should start. We've got the village right there. I don't know. We're just thinking about, we're looking at a lot of different things, so Denise and I.
Zoning is not a horrible thing to use as you go through, but
Yeah.
you have overlays for the zones,
You
right?
do, yeah. So,
So I would still like to encourage
Yeah.
use of the map that
yep,
that
yeah, because all the
Sarah
work
came
you
up
put
with.
into it, yep.
And, well, I just think it's
It needs to be
it's re-
updated, and I can't
Yeah.
do that without the Excel file.
But it's
Yeah.
also replicatable, it's
Yeah.
repeatable, it's something you can update as you need, and as soon as your update's done, it's current,
Yeah,
Yeah,
rather than, cutting up little pieces of maps and slapping them together, which in the past would have been fine, but if we have tools, let's use the tools, So yeah, anyway, that is being investigated as
Okay.
far as how we get through the neighborhood revision
yeah.
activity as mandated by the Department of Revenue.
I have a good 2 weeks in July that I will be unavailable,
Okay, all right.
so. we'll need
Hopefully,
to-
hopefully
we'll
I
need to
will,
have a discussion before that.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna be back till July 1st, so
So,
that's the thing,
Well, that next week should suffice then.
yeah,
as Linda mentioned, she has training, she has time to use up,
Yeah.
yeah.
and she has the conference.
If
So-
you can get that spreadsheet to me before you go,
I only have tomorrow, and I honestly, with the way things have been going, I don't think it's gonna happen. It's a little frustrating because I've been trying to get this rollback done for 2 weeks, and I just,
And then she was called upon to start writing
yeah.
the investigation.
I
That took up
Yeah,
understand.
2
it's
days.
just-
It's
And I
just
keep
been-
moving my time, and
I
I'm
know,
gonna
it's-
lose my time if I don't take it. and
I get it, but it
it's-
has been a 2-month request.
Yeah,
Right,
so,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think those are the 4 that I wanted to talk about. Did you want to do some minutes now? You have some executive session minutes.
I do.
Honestly, I'm continuing to be remiss. I pull it up and I get a chance to not look at it, and then I pull it up and I get a chance to not look at it.
Hopefully, this is, what's the date on that? May
19th
19th,
of
May
May.
5th, and April 16th. Those are just the,
Okay, that makes sense. 19th, what was the other one?
April 16th.
Okay.
Oh, you have May 19th. This one is May 5th, and this is April 16th.
Okay,
Do you want to work
let's do it, yes.
from April 16th?
Please, because that's just how I think.
Um,
Feel free to make any recommended edits, and then I'll take it from there.
and I don't think I got anything back from Jack, so,
On,
on the executive,
nope,
so,
so we'll go back and do it
I
without,
feel like I've read this before.
yeah, you did, it was just some changes. Yeah.
Okay, I don't have anything.
Okay.
I'll change.
no glaring,
Not that I'm
Grammatical
seeing right now,
errors?
but I am at the end of the year.
finals. So I still want to push back on this one. We discussed the notary signature on the agreement, but I don't think we need the agreement to be notarized.
Yeah.
What needs to be notarized is the lien.
Mm.
the agreement doesn't have to be notarized, I don't think, so I'm gonna cross that off. Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
Because
fine.
I think that is it's a red herring at best.
And that is what we had discussed.
We did discuss it there,
Yeah.
but
But
but-
it just keeps, yeah.
it keeps popping up its ugly head, and I'd like to stop it. There were two major discrepancies, yeah.
I think this is fine, I don't remember the numbers, so I'm suggesting it's accurate.
Oh, I know.
I don't have that kind of memory. I'm just gonna say an additional 600 instead of extra. Because it was by
Yep.
right,
Yep.
and that's the only amendment
This
I
one,
have
this
for-
one says additional 600.
Ah,
That one
it
says,
says, yeah, extra instead of additional. So, that's it, so, these are. Well, I'll wait until you're ready to read them.
okay. I will entertain a motion on the amended minutes for executive session of April 16th.
Do you want to just do them all?
Let's do them well,
April 16th, May 5th, and May
I
19th?
don't know, I haven't read those yet.
You can read them all, and we can just make one motion and go aye once.
I once.
If it pleases the chair.
This denied due to withdrawal from attorney, that was the one that was part of the,
Yes,
we should note that was part of a settlement for ATB. Linda?
You want to note that? Okay.
On this one, is this the one that was, because it was a settlement from ATB?
or is that one just withdrawn because it was incomplete?
Yeah,
No, that was the
It was
ATB
the
one.
that was ADP.
Okay.
I want to put something about
For ATB case.
settlement.
Settlement.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
thank you.
And then do you want to review that? I'll keep the change copy. Or do you want me to just release it after those changes are made? I
So,
think is there any
These executive
information?
sessions minutes were supposed to initial them or something?
Yeah,
So I don't want to send them back
Right.
handwritten.
Yeah,
so I'll.
So we'll stop in the office at some point and
Yeah.
initial, them.
Okay.
Just make these adjustments. We'll initial them once we've approved them.
Okay,
Um,
I'll have Robin hold them and put them aside.
okay.
15 days, this can't be right?
Yeah, I don't think that's it.
Doesn't need one at all, right?
No,
Okay, we're gonna remove that
I think we would just,
apostrophe.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, happy with that one? This one's very brief.
I did notice something on that one.
Thank you. We finished, there was one that had no period at the end of the sentence too, wasn't there?
I'm definitely slacking.
I thought I saw one that had no period at the end of the sentence. Actually, none of those do, they?
Yeah, but a lot of them are fragments.
That's okay, then, they don't need sentence periods. So, to a total of, okay. Okay. So the motion is for executive sessions of April 16th, May 5th, and May 19th as amended,
Second.
right?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we've approved them
Okay.
with those adjustments.
Okay.
thought we did February 19th. I keep thinking we did
I
February
thought we
19th.
did, but
I think we did.
I think we did.
Wait, can we
And
look at
I-
you look at the town website and see if the minutes are up there?
I can look, I know I read through March 12th and 19th.
Well, I don't know if
And
March 12th
I-
and 19th done, but that February 19th, I'm pretty sure is done.
Well, I know I read them and we didn't vote on them.
I'm gonna need you to come by the office, because I have these, the warrants for you to sign for the prelim bills, and I don't have the accountant copy with me. It needs to be updated. That I have for the tax collector. So,
Able to find it?
Working on it. You know,
We'll give you
it's
a
like
second.
10 layers.
I know, well, because
I know, it's
The
people who
website
made
needs to
it.
be fixed.
I know.
oh, I know.
Okay, yeah, the minutes of February 19th have been posted.
so that one can come off this list.
Yeah.
Okay, so February
And the
19th?
executive sessions that you just gave us,
Yep, those
which
will,
included April 16th, May 5th, and May 19th.
yep.
Okay. We're getting there. When are we gonna talk about that?
This,
Yep.
I actually have that as an item,
Where?
on undercurrent business. The last item.
Okay. I won't say anything yet.
Okay.
Shut up, Brian. As my wife often explains.
I don't have it with me, but I did update the exemption brochure to reflect 2026 and the changes that were voted in at town meeting
So you,
to 17 E and F and 41D.
and that you'll be taking to Kara, so it'll be on
Yep,
the
yep,
website.
yep,
Okay.
yeah,
So the new
exemption,
summary of exemptions is available,
Great.
and it's in the office,
yep,
just not here.
no.
It's okay. We'll pick one up when we come in the office.
Yeah, no, it was done. So, let me know when you're all set. We ready to go on to, the
Sure, let's
invoices?
do some, you wanna sign stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so this is
Just a
the,
quick question. Do the, does the assessor's website still have the old makeup of the board on it, or the new one?
Hang on, let me check.
I was hoping it would slow down, just so I could get caught up on
The
some
old-
of the stuff.
The old one.
Ah,
Okay. Do you want me to take that?
that would be great, yeah.
Okay. Since I gotta go up and sign stuff anyway.
I was hoping it would
Do I
slow
need to
down.
go up and sign stuff too?
I will have the accountant copy, so I'll do those tomorrow because this change, like I said, I changed this.
So is that a yes?
Yes, it is a yes.
What was the question?
Do I
She
need to
would,
come
she
in and
does need to
some
sign,
things?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'll leave it with Robin if I'm not
Well,
there.
this is the time I actually
Could?
plan my schedule.
Wow.
That's good.
I do have to get a real ID.
Oh, I just got that,
Sorry,
so,
that's off topic.
no,
Let's move
make
on.
sure you schedule that early. It's,
I don't want to talk about it right now.
yeah, it's very,
I shouldn't have brought it.
Linda did, I think, three
oh,
appointments for
yeah,
hers.
yeah, that was a nightmare. I gotta do the passport
Let's
next.
talk later.
Yeah. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, we had Randy Mercier come in today. He did the prelim billing for us, and I have the warrant to the collectors. And I have, I can read you the amounts if you want.
Please.
For the real estate, 16,599,989.32. And if you need a breakdown of those amounts, I do have the LA4, which
We can
I
just look.
think you looked at before.
Oh, this, look at
Pass
right.
it.
So
Yeah, this format looks like the old dot matrix printers.
Sure does.
Can you see
When do you
it?
think the report was last updated?
I know. It's crazy. Actually, the one from Vision is better, much more
So this is
updated.
our current assessment values.
And this has our Sweezy on it?
Does it have it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Still, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Where this report come from?
Oh, I know where that comes from. Randy was using Rena's computer. That's why.
Her old computer.
Yeah. Her old computer.
No.
I couldn't tie up mine.
All day?
Yeah,
what I
it's
thought.
just, I did that in December and it's,
Mhm.
so that's why it comes up. It was done under her computer.
Which one is this? 012, 043.
That,
Is that just a summary of all?
actually, you know what?
Nope, because there's 64 of them.
Is this
Yeah.
a little easier to read?
Is that
I
similar?
just don't
This is the
remember the-
Vision LE4, look at
I don't
that.
remember what the 01243
That,
stands for. I know it's a code I should remember, but I don't.
is that mixed use? Yeah, I don't know if off the top of my head.
I don't see a 64 there.
You see it there?
Here.
Yeah, it's 25 on that sheet, it's 64 here.
What did you say? Oh, what was it? 012?
012-43, it's right under 61
Oh,
feet
43, yeah.
That's I think that's mixed use.
And it says there's 64 parcels on this munis report. And on that it says 25.
Oh, for the chapter land?
No,
Nope,
Mixed
for the
use.
parcels,
the count of parcels.
for 12 and 43.
Can I just see that?
Yep, when I add the chapter land together, it's 14, 24, and 16, and it only adds up to 54.
You know what this does? It breaks it out by, the LA4 is different because this property, there's like 13, there's mixed use of 13, and there's a total of 14.
Oh,
So
okay.
that is probably what the difference is, which is very confusing, the way that they do that. If it's a chapter land and then it has like a mixed use as well. Yeah.
Trying to decide. I'm trying to figure out how that works. If
I
it's
mean,
chapter
because if
land,
I
how does it
add-
have mixed use?
Well, the thing is, if I add this chapter land together too, it has 14, 23,
Four.
and 18 in parcel counts,
Yeah.
which is different than the number that's over there in munis.
The 012, 043, what is the total?
25. And on there it's 64.
Because if you look at the mixed use column, see where the mixed use column is? What is
That
that?
adds up to a total of 37. If you had 37 and 25 together, you get 62,
Which isn't 64.
which is not
No.
64. So I guess I need a little more on this sheet.
Yeah, it's just the way that,
we gotta, but we gotta know that, we gotta know what we're signing.
yeah. Well, all right, I will, I'll have to clarify the other report, because the way that,
Yeah.
Those,
It's just confusing.
those
it is,
two reports don't appear to match.
Yeah,
well, the total, like I said, I ran 5 of them today, so it was just a crazy day. The totals match, this is what we had in Munis, so this number matches what's on there.
so there's,
But
there's
this is
something,
this is not a report, this is
This is the commitment, but this
But-
matches what came out
this,
of.
but
Yeah.
those, one of those matches this report.
one of those goes with that, and the other's a munis printout, and they're not the same.
This is. Okay, this was the final commitment after we did everything, and this is the final that he came out with. So this should match that. 217 properties. I'll leave it at the office and you can go through it, but these numbers are correct, I'll tell you that. They are correct.
These are off,
This is the final
off
number.
where did they come from?
This came from Munis,
So Munis is correct.
yes. Yeah, and him and I went through them and they did match when we went through.
So those two reports over there that don't match, one of them came from Munis, the other one came from? That's what we gave the state, right, on the LA4?
What I would give the state, I'll give the state this copy here, my LA4. This is what I will
So
report.
the LA4 doesn't match what's in this report. Is that, I think we just discovered.
Well, let's see the total. Real estate, that's personal property. So we have 5,276 properties with a prelim tax of 16,599. And I'm gonna take this 2315331 times 0.1436. The exempt is taken out of this, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to go through it with you in the office because
Okay.
I think the personal property might be easier with that.
The personal property,
Yeah, I have personal property as well.
oh,
So this came from Munis, and then this is the report that we got from RRC. I have assessed value, and then I have tax value. So Munis takes this information, puts it in the system, and this is what we get, the tax. So
if
what I
the
got.
parcel counts don't match, then I
The
question all the rest of them.
The parcel count does match on this right here. I have 5,276, and the tax is 16,599,989. So it does match, but we take out the exempt, and then this is like the total of everything that was put in. So this might be more confusing. I probably shouldn't have given you this. This is probably more confusing.
Well, I can usually understand numbers, but I don't
Yeah.
understand those.
So this report came directly from Munis. So if you look at 217 and that totals up on that on the personal property there. So you can see that those match there. Those match perfectly.
So this is the Munis report.
Well,
Yeah.
this is just showing the 501, 502,
I think
504.
why
And
this
It
is,
has left out all the chapter lands here. This is
That's-
only showing 217.
that's personal property. That's
This
different.
is personal property.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's on the bottom.
Okay,
So if you look,
so yeah, the personal property amount
yeah,
matches with
Right.
this
that.
section, but this section doesn't match the LE4.
Yeah, I think
Right.
where that's coming in is the exempt. I think that's where the difference is. So 5217 minus. So 5108 is the parcel count for the real estate. That's less the exempt of 168, which is the 900 code,
Wait a minute.
which is not on that report, but it's on this one.
So
So
you
I
said
see-
5108.
5108,
Yep.
and then he
And
says
what was the other number?
5276 with 900.
What's the 5276?
That's the total including the exempt properties. So I think what's confusing it is,
So
One.
5108 plus 217 gets you to 5325.
yep,
Well,
that's the total of the personal property and the real estate.
you quoted a different number just a minute ago.
Yeah. You
It's
said
5108. Before you said 5108, you said some other number.
Yep, so.
What was that number?
So 5276 was the other number I said.
No, you said a small number.
Oh, 168.
Thank you, that's the one.
That's the 900s, which are exempt. So I
okay.
think where the confusion is coming in is that on this LA4, it adds in the exempt to the count, which
Yes.
brought it up to 5276.
So she,
But
And-
that's not what's here.
well, don't count this, this is personal property.
Yeah,
Go to
don't-
This part, this is the 5108.
Yeah, we have to
This
do
is the
them
number of
separate.
properties,
Yes,
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, parcels.
parcels.
But those parcels don't include the exempt, which were 168 exempts. And if you add 168 plus 5108, you get 5276, which
Yeah.
is the number that she quoted to us
Okay.
over
Yeah.
there. So I think we're okay,
We are.
but I just wanted to make sure that if,
It's
I
confusing.
was trying to figure out why that report doesn't
It doesn't match.
look like
Yeah.
that report,
Okay, is it?
because it's not the same thing.
So
It's
does that
very-
up to 5276? That does.
Right.
Yeah, because we're not, if it's exempt, they don't get a bill. But vision,
So if there were a subtotal right here before the 168, it would have been the
So which ones
5108.
on here are exempt?
there's
Which codes are they exempt?
the 900,
Nope, right, there's only one set of codes on that
which is
one.
104, 104, 412, 600. See that, this number right here? This number isn't going to be billed, but it includes it in the bill.
Yeah, so
The 168.
we were, because we can't think about $10 million of worth of stuff. and
It's
get
very
up to the 16th
confusing.
thing. But we can talk about
Well,
168
we can see that
parcels.
these things don't add up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But if you
Okay.
take
From
that
the-
168 off the parcel
Yeah.
count, you get to this number.
Okay,
So it,
that's what, yeah.
right,
And when I do the commitment, I can't add in the exempt, so the
And
Correct.
you can't see what, yeah, I
yeah.
got it.
It's very confusing because
I think we're
Vision.
okay.
We're okay,
Vision prints
So what
out.
do we need to sign?
yeah.
No, we usually
No,
make
no,
sure
it's
that
good.
we understand the number.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
not,
not gonna sign it,
pretty
I don't
much-
understand the number, but
I
I
totally,
understand now.
I totally understand. I
Because,
just had to look
you know,
at
you look
it.
at this and like, this doesn't match, so.
is that my pen? Did I give you my
It is
pen?
your pen.
And this is what the consultant gave me after he generated all that. This is what we're committing. So this number is what we're
16.
committing, and, yeah, you get the five.
It's the 5276,
Yeah.
but that includes the,
Includes the exempt.
The 168. Okay.
The problem is you got two different systems. You got Vision and you have Munis.
Well, and if you're trying to go and understand what that Venus printout says, you're gonna check the numbers.
right. And all it does is.
Because like this 101, it says it's 3642 in here, and here it says 3643,
Right,
which is one different. So what's going on? This one's one. It's the exemptions down here. Well, maybe not. You see, this 101 is,
this matches.
Well,
but this one's off by one.
I know, this one matches.
And if the exemptions
This
were
one's off
covered
by
here,
one right here, 84
Yeah.
versus 85.
yeah, but if the exemptions were taken out of this, wouldn't this number be higher? No, I guess because it's already
No, it'd be
taken
lower,
out. It'll
right.
be lower.
Mhm.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So this 85 versus 84 is the other direction.
Oh, look at all these. 190, 592. Yeah. Okay.
Off by one.
And they're not in order either.
They're not in any,
it's,
they're in order, they're
It's
just in different
confusing.
orders.
All right. Here.
this is why we have an expert help us with the
Well-
billing, because he makes sure that it's matching.
Yep, honestly, now that we discovered that those parcel counts are right,
Yeah.
I feel much more comfortable with this.
Yes.
And I trust him. He works with other towns.
Well,
So-
trust is one thing, but
But-
trust but
We still
verify.
have to check.
But we do, this is the thing, is him, we both
But-
checked it today, so,
But until we understand it,
yeah,
as Sarah said,
it's confusing.
I'm not signing it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure she's not signing it. So now we, I think,
Now we
understand it. So what do we need to sign?
Okay, let me just make sure, so we get the personal property,
Which we know
which
matches.
that's no issue.
So we need to sign that?
Yep. The commitment. I do have the accountant one at the office that I have to change,
We'll
so
sign. Oh, wait, what?
I'll have that tomorrow. And we had a little bit of an issue, because the motor vehicle, we weren't trained on that.
Are we signing this? I signed it?
No, that goes with that, so we both signed that. That's all set.
Do we need more copies of that to be signed?
I just made one, yeah. This is
Okay.
the real estate. Okay. So these two numbers should match.
Yep. 16,599. If you read the preliminary investigation, one of the concerns was that there was not much oversight, and we're trying to make sure we continue to provide oversight.
No, I know. And
Which doesn't mean anything was wrong, it just means
No.
things weren't checked, so if there was an error, it never got caught.
and you know what, it's always good to have a second set of eyes,
Yep.
because we're dealing with all this stuff.
Let me know the next time you pass it out. You just gotta explain that 900.
Yeah. And I don't know why, because I questioned that, why is that exempt appearing if we're not billing it out? It's confusing.
Somebody wrote the report that didn't understand what the intention of the report was.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've worked with those guys.
I mean, this Munis
People.
system, some of the.
So much better.
It's not really that much different.
It's not different
We
enough
can't
to
even
me,
print,
right.
it won't even print on our printer, so we have an issue with that, and there's still, I guess, a bridging issue with the personal property, so it's not resolved yet,
Right.
but
So those things we just signed are
I'm not
called?
sure who thought it would be.
those are warrants for the tax collector, for the
Thank you.
prelim bills, for
In case
fiscal,
anybody's watching.
for fiscal 2026, real estate and personal property.
Right.
Now we have motor vehicle, and we actually have two commitments.
2 and 3.
2 and 3. 2 was 272,922, and that represented 882 motor vehicle bills.
Okay.
So that's this commitment. This actually, we just got that done today with the help of the consultant.
Yeah.
Those are the two numbers there. On this one, I do have both the warrant for the collector and also the accountant, so that goes with that one.
Okay.
So those two.
Those all seem to match.
I think we can, our signature is our vote. We don't need to vote if we're signing, in my humble opinion. So, just a question. Why does that say?
That's the idea.
That's the day that I made this up. I should have done it for today.
Another sign, anything else to sign there?
Yep, so, we have to sign that one.
Right.
I have to damn it up.
Okay.
Do you want me to, can you cross that out and make it the 11th? Does it matter?
We'll have to initial it.
If you want to do that, that's fine.
Oh.
And then this is commitment 3,
What'd you change? Just the number, okay.
which, you have that original email
Do you
on
want to
the
initial
Outlook
both of them
page.
ourselves here?
So this commitment is for $138,650.87. Represents 620 motor vehicle excise tax bills. And I have both the accountant and the commitment for the tax collector to be signed.
And those back?
Here's the email.
This one's the 11th.
And on this bill,
Yeah.
what we do is I go through and I look at all the exempt bills and I take them out of the file and then reach back out to Kelly and Ryan, who's the company that generates the bills, and we remove them.
I'm sorry, generates the bills and what?
Kelly and Ryan generates
I got that.
these bills, so we remove all the exempt, like the town
Oh,
vehicles.
yep.
Any exempt vehicles, we remove from the file so that they don't get bills. So these numbers are adjusted with all the exempt vehicles removed.
I'm sorry, that's different. No, that goes with this.
Yep,
Okay, we don't need to sign this. This
Nope.
just goes with it. Thank
yeah,
you.
I gave you that for documentation,
Backup
Backup.
documentation is always a good thing.
just so you can see where those numbers came from.
Yep. Happy.
All right, the next one is one of the liens from the chapter land properties. So this one is a little confusing because part of this property is in Fitchburg. So even though Fitchburg had their own lien, we needed to have one for Lunenburg, and it was never issued, so that's why I worded it that way, and I put all the parcels on this one lien, just to make it easy, because they were small. And that's the check from the homeowner.
I'm sorry, you said you worded something because
Yeah.
it was in, what wording did you use that was,
Part of the land is there's multiple parcels on
we
there.
don't care about?
And part of it is in Fitchburg. Fitchburg has a lien
But we
already
need a lien
recorded,
too.
but
Right.
we didn't have a lien in Lunenburg.
Right?
So this is why we did that. We have the application, but there's no lien, just to protect the town, so. Those parcels, I did it in the same format
So the
instead of
wording,
doing.
the wording says acres in Lunenburg, is that what you meant by wording? Okay.
Yeah,
We maybe should always say that. but
yeah,
what the heck.
I just thought we should have that because we don't want the same thing to happen where the property is sold. If that portion of Lunenburg is sold and there's no lien, we're not protected.
Denise wrote the,
Supporting documentation on the, yep.
yep.
Is this the Fitchburg Board of Assessors?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is, okay, yep, thank you. So this should look similarly,
To that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
yep. Our signatures are our vote?
Yeah.
And you have to have that notarized, so you know how will you go into the office and
Sarah, sign the second page and I'll,
have to go see Kathy? Sorry, I know it's a pain.
no, it's not, and there's only two copies to be signed in here?
Yeah, I made
Okay.
two. Yep, okay. All right, this next one, this is just informational. This is one of the properties, the chapter that sold, and this is the rollback that I started tonight to go back and try to collect.
We're not voting on this tonight, right?
No, there's no vote.
Okay.
I just kind of threw it together, so it's going to be 23, 24, and then 25. So
Yeah, you
actually
mentioned that one earlier.
Yep.
Yep.
And where's, there's
25's here. Yep,
For a total of, okay.
yep,
Perfect,
6,027.
Perfect.
So I just wanted you to see
I
that.
think that's
Yeah,
excellent.
yep. So that, we'll see what will happen, but we want to prevent this from happening. This is-
Well, is that property in chapter 61 now?
This is, I took it out, I brought it up to full value.
The new owners want it to be at full value?
Well,
They haven't responded?
We haven't reached out to the new owners because the deed just happened to come in when I was working on this.
Okay,
We reached out to the
Old owner,
seller.
I got that.
The old owner, the seller, twice.
Yeah.
We sent a letter on March 10th that we
No, this-
hadn't received their application.
yep,
And then we also sent a second letter on May 13th,
yep,
and the deadline was May 28th.
still nothing.
And we
And
were,
we got no response because it was being sold. And then we just happened to notice that the deed, and this is actually, there's another property, it's 2 properties that were sold. So this deed happened to come in on May 28th, which was the deadline. So I just happened to pull the plan and I looked at it, and this is the issue we have. This isn't matching up with the camera. I can't even tell what property is what lot's what. There's no parcel ID. It's just for
you-
us to try to.
Approached somebody over in this building?
I did, yeah.
about-
Andrea and Andrea in the Board of Health, and Brian Gingras, the building inspector. I reached out to them for some assistance.
And,
I'm waiting for a response.
Okay, I've gotten it.
On the addresses,
that's
yeah.
fine, that's fine. Good.
That's kind of the plan that we've taken
I
because
think that's all you can do.
it's,
Yep.
it's
That's it.
impossible, and I spend hours on this property alone. I couldn't figure it out.
Which one's that one?
This is a deed on Asplin Drive.
Okay,
I just can't make heads or tails as to,
well,
Was it-
Andrea volunteered to help.
she did.
So,
So I was
I
able
was
to-
there when she volunteered to help, so.
I was able to pull this plan and I started looking at the GIS and figuring this out. But then, like these right here, it's a problem. And I
Okay.
guess we're short-staffed in planning now, so.
Well, the admin from up here is now moved over to there.
yeah.
So there's no admin here, at least. I don't know what else is missing up here.
Yeah. But it's,
So at some point, they'll
Where it-
backfill that position, and then it'll take some time to get that person trained, and then we'll figure out. Okay, thank you.
so, yeah.
Any more signatures?
That is really it. Yep,
Okay.
that's it for that.
The neighborhood site index plan, we
Yep.
have anything else to talk about that we haven't spoken about?
You kind of had mentioned that about what we were gonna do. I'll try to get you that Excel with what we sent, and I'll look at it tomorrow, hopefully. I'm just hoping that every day I go in there and I say, okay, I'm gonna get this
What's
done.
blown up today?
Oh, it's just,
Okay,
but I will try to do that. So hopefully we will get more direction on that so that we can move forward.
okay,
We can't do anything till July anyways at this point, but, so that's what we're planning on.
okay. I'll wait. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you're up next.
Okay. The next item, I had been waiting for a couple months for a brochure, and I haven't heard back from Tom,
Oh, I
so,
told you I spoke to him.
yeah, and he was going away, so we have to roll this out.
So I'll do a summary.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah,
You recall that on the subcommittee,
Yeah.
Tom had volunteered to do a brochure, Tom
Yep.
Alonso.
Yep.
He hadn't had an opportunity to get to that, what with the transition out of the select board and some
Yes.
other stuff that was going on in his life. And I called him and said, well, we really need that pretty soon. What's the status? And he said, well, I can do it, but I can't do it right now. And I said, well, when can you do it? Well, it's probably going to be July. And I said, July's too late.
yeah.
And I also said, it's unfortunate that you have a life and a wife.
He's given a lot of time.
yes.
No,
Yes.
he's
So
been,
I told him that we were going to be moving forward with whatever Linda has pulled together for kind of a brochure. It's kind of a brochure. It's laid out like a brochure, but it's only one side. It has like typically a brochure, we'd have three folds, stuff on both sides. You get a lot more information that way. But this is what we have so far.
This is my design.
And
It's a
that's
flyer.
not a problem.
I'm not equipped for the threefold, but
When I told him, one of the reasons is we need to get something out into the public, because if we're setting a deadline of September 3rd,
Yeah, they do.
we can't be sending it out in late July or early August and saying, hey, get back to us in a couple weeks. So we need to move forward with what we have.
Yeah, I'm sure he understands.
He does,
And I said, we're moving forward with this. He said, understood.
Yeah.
But if it's okay with you, may I continue, he said, may I continue to develop the brochure? And I said, we'd be happy to take it whenever you're done,
yeah.
but we are probably gonna be posting these things down in the senior center.
And
Yeah.
then we can swap them out if we need to.
At
Yeah.
the senior center, I'm sorry, the adult activities center, and putting them up wherever we can put them up, because we want people to be able to start to apply for this tax break, essentially.
I wanted to get your
And we
approval.
call it exemptions.
Yeah.
I think that's unfortunate, because it's really not an exemption, but I don't know what it should call it. Because you're moving the tax, you're changing the tax for everybody else because of the money
Senior
that you're
means
putting here.
tested real estate tax freak.
I think the law says exemption, so I just think
It
it's
does.
unfortunate
And
that
honestly, when we do an exemption, for the most part, we are,
somebody else has to pick it up.
yes,
Yeah.
But it's already accounted for in the other way. This is not.
this is not.
So it's
I hear
sort of a, but not quite, but it's almost. So,
This
what
is
did you
the
just- oh, you can-
application.
So Linda has copies,
Yeah.
that's good.
So
So that was by way of explanation, and Tom wants to follow up on it and has apologized profusely to the board for not having been able to do it yet.
I appreciate his involvement in Lou, Franco, and Jack. We met 3 or 4 times just to kind of get this
I
going, but
think this was lightning speed for this kind of work.
I know I've spent
Honestly.
quite a bit of time on it, and I thought about it the other day, and I said, oh my God, September 3rd is right around the corner. I have to get this going, so.
So I have one minor edit for you.
Yeah, no, please.
And I'm surprised this wasn't on your goals.
This period is in white and the rest of the font is in black.
What's that again?
See my little blue circle?
The period is white.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you. Good point.
You could keep that.
You know what's funny? I said to Robin, I said, can you please look at this, because it's always
I
good to
have
have.
to print all of my things and look at them.
I'm glad
don't-
you do.
I don't see my mistakes on a screen.
Right.
Yep, so I will change that.
That is the fault of my generation. I still need a tree to get things done.
I was kind of proud of myself that I did this, because
It's good.
this, I don't really have a strong background in PowerPoint, but this is my first attempt at it. My daughter, who's a whiz at it, was like, wow, you did that? I said, yeah.
Have you ever looked at Canva?
She does that all the
It's
time.
online
It's way-
and like you can get a brochure template and
Oh,
plug
can
and
you?
play things
Oh,
in.
I have to
My
look
wife
into that.
discovered Canva and loves it.
Does she? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have to pay for that, though?
No, that's free.
Is it? Okay.
There's certain designs that are not,
Yeah,
but like
Sure.
a lot of it is free.
yeah.
Senior means tested tax exemption.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
It's checking to see if you're
Something else.
linguistically
I know.
proficient still. If you could say it without spitting, you're doing well.
You noticed that one? Thank you. I was going to keep this one because I didn't really want to share it with anybody.
I can't add any more. This is like bursting at the seams.
Well, if you did it on the back too, then you'd be able to do it too.
I'm telling you, I can't. But then you have to figure out how to print it.
Yes.
The,
Oh,
the
yeah.
flip thing.
Yeah, that, we can barely print this, so printing anything other than that, I could not
Is this just random seniors or these people from
Yeah.
town?
It was random.
random. I could not print this
Jack
double-sided.
on it.
I should have, yeah.
I mean, he does like pictures of people.
Yes. Okay. Is there anything else other than the period
Did you,
that you'd like to see changed?
Yeah. Please feel free mark it up.
I didn't see anything else. I think there's no misspellings. Received by the assessors, probably doesn't need an apostrophe.
I was gonna ask you that, but Robin
But
and I were.
assessor's office,
Assessor's
Yeah.
office, so it's.
so it does need an
It does.
assessor.
Does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I'd say go for it.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to vote on it, but we are familiar with it. This is something that will be both posted and
On the
hard
website.
copy and on the website.
Yeah.
And make sure that it's printable from the website, because
I'll
we have
ask
some
Tara.
things that are not printable on the website
Yeah,
still, even though we've mentioned it.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna actually send the changes to the exemptions to Kara. And also, I'm gonna send these to her as well, once you approve this. This is
Oh, what was
actually,
the other document that we couldn't,
that was the exemption, the 20.
oh, it wouldn't print properly?
Yeah, it wouldn't.
So someone selected one row and then sent that one over, and that row prints, which is nothing in it.
Beautifully.
There's nothing in it, so what you get is this box, little tiny box. That's good.
Classic office space material.
Yep. So we'll make sure that it's printable.
Yes.
So you print one first, then send that copy electronically.
I'm sorry.
This is the application that was
So after reviewing, I looked at some of the other towns that have
several other
this.
towns, yeah.
And this was from Westford, and this was determined to be the best. This came from my friend Will Nazer, who is an incredible assessor. So I just kind of edited it, made some changes to it,
Change the amounts.
changed the amounts. This one does not have the
I
brochure
have a
mentions.
suggestion on this one.
Yeah,
If the value is greater than, put a dollar sign on 540, 540, anything that's a dollar, put a dollar, please.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
It just makes it difficult, hard to read.
okay.
And the dollar sign,
So this looks like it has all the components we need.
it does.
The nice thing about it is that you kind of follow along here, and when you get to B, it says, did you receive the circuit breaker tax credit in calendar 2024? If yes, you would attach your tax return. If no, the direction is, if no, stop. This program requires if the owner has received the Massachusetts income circuit breaker for calendar 2024. That's
Yep.
it. They don't qualify.
Gandalf,
Stop.
you shall not pass.
It's pretty straightforward.
What is the flight speed of a...
So,
Thank you for getting that.
that's before my time. No, it's not.
You got it
Actually, I
too.
think Sarah's younger than I am.
It's timeless. It's timeless.
But,
No, I think that's great. Start down here. If you can't pass this,
Go
don't
back.
pass it.
yeah,
Go figure out how to get it done if you can. Now, right. So I think that makes a lot of sense. I was suggesting to Tom that if we did a brochure, we try to make it as timeless as possible.
Mhm.
But because these have some specific data points in them,
We'll start up.
we sort of
Mhm.
kind of have to update it every year. So let's not print too many
yeah,
at a time,
right,
And let's not save it as a PDF.
because then
yeah,
you can't fix it.
Yes.
yeah.
Well, yes, you can. Oh, the town does, yes.
You know, sometimes these PDFs, I was on the website, the DOR website, trying to print one of the warrants, and it wasn't a fillable PDF.
Nope.
And I was struggling with the boxes, and Robin ended up retyping it because we were trying to line everything up.
I know a lot of
She
people that
says,
do that, and it's just such a waste. And
Yeah. It's
So-
annoying.
and it's annoying.
Yeah, it is annoying. So, you
Suck
approve
more
of,
of my time out of my life.
Add the dollar sign in there, I think, anything else on there that
I
needs to
didn't
be
see
changed,
anything.
items.
I like it.
it doesn't go into age and asset and all that, because
Because
really,
it's covered here.
yeah, it's covered. If they don't have the circuit breaker, they don't qualify. That's kind of
Yeah.
a prerequisite. And I don't know, it's funny. I
The
don't
circuit
think,
breaker has an age requirement,
Correct.
yeah,
so,
So they already
Done.
passed all that stuff.
yeah.
yeah. And they
I
need to
don't
be
think a lot of
repaired.
people know about the circuit breaker, so I'm not sure if the tax preparer,
A lot of yes, a lot of people, when they do their taxes, don't know about the circuit breaker.
Right.
Some people don't bother to do taxes when they might be eligible for a circuit breaker,
Yeah,
but they didn't know, so they didn't file a tax.
Well, there's people who could get a refund if they filed their taxes, but
Yeah.
since they don't need to file, they're not doing it.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And this won't assist, unfortunately, that's.
We can't help that. Well,
But if
but
they
if they
come
have one of
in-
these and it says stop, why do I have to stop? Well, because I have one of these. Well, how do I get one of those?
Well, maybe
Oh,
I'll go do it.
Well, I was speaking with a woman on Monday about that. She had no idea. So maybe the tax preparer, I know
maybe she doesn't file
mine.
taxes.
Yeah, if she doesn't, well, she does file taxes, but a lot of people don't know about
A
it.
lot of people do like TurboTax, come on.
Yeah, so,
But even, well,
No, it
what,
depends.
if your Massachusetts package should be able to say, I don't know that it does because it doesn't come
You
up for
know how
me.
some people just go click, 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 click. And,
Yep. So anyway, this may incent some people to go ahead and do the circuit breaker, which would give them
Which would
their
help
circuit
them.
breaker
Yeah.
and would give them a break on
Yeah.
their property taxes. So it could add as much as $5,400
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
somebody's.
And for this,
Spendable
you
money.
know, if they, if they get the circuit breaker, but this doesn't work out for them, at least they have that.
yeah.
Yep.
We're
Which is
trying to
right.
help people.
Yeah.
Any person that comes into the office, we try to help them with whatever we can.
So
uh,
you, are,
With the exemptions.
whatever you post down at the senior center, is it gonna be one of these, like
It'll be both an application.
together
Together.
somehow?
I can put it together, yeah.
Side by
What?
side,
Or something, just make sure that people know this goes with this.
Yeah.
goes together.
Somehow. I don't know what the best way to do that is, but
Yeah,
if you can do it, and you can have these back.
I'll bring them down and then they can, I'm not sure what they have.
Well, they have.
They have our
little
brochure.
slots, I think, to put stuff in.
Yeah.
Or on the counter with those little
Um,
see-through
I mean, I can make that bigger. You guys could make this bigger.
titles. Recognize the population.
So,
Make the title as big as you.
I'll
you
increase the
can.
font on this.
Look at that.
There you go.
Oh, perfect. I tell you, he's amazing. It's great. Perfect.
Do me a favor. Electronically send a copy of those applications and that brochure to the whole team that you worked with
Mhm.
before we send it down to the senior center.
Yeah.
And here's the result of the work that we did. Thank you very much for your efforts. Can you,
I will do that.
okay. Because that way it puts a little bit of closure on it.
Yeah. Yeah, because we never had I wanted to have another meeting and it didn't
There's
happen.
a lot going on.
Somebody asked me today, is there another meeting? I said, there's no need for another meeting, but,
Unfortunately, we're running out of time, so.
Yeah.
it's-
and we've run out of
And
time.
and you have it.
Yeah.
You have what's needed
Yeah.
at this point.
The work is done,
Yeah,
except that work is never done till the paperwork's done, as they
Yeah.
say, right?
so I just think
So
It's
the
September
report
3rd.
is published.
Till the investigation is released. Sorry. Okay. Anything else on that one?
that's it.
So the next item under postponed topics is criteria for clause 18. That's something we can put off until, I think, the fall,
Mhm.
Okay.
because I think it requires us to really take a look.
We really need to think.
I don't want to slapdash something.
No,
Having said that, we haven't had a lot of call for it either.
yeah.
But
We
it is
just-
another possibility for some people.
We just want to have it thought about before we have to do it.
Correct. So that one can stay on there as a future agenda item, but I don't really want to address it till we get to the September-ish,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which will then become busy with the means tested, senior
Yeah.
means tested based, whatever the heck it says.
Tax
And-
exemption.
And then even the directives
Too
too,
many words.
but we're gonna be busy with that.
Yeah, but again, I don't want to lose sight of it.
Yeah,
The next item under the postponed topic is the status of DOR directives, I would suggest that rather than highlighting neighborhood stuff up earlier, this whole status of the DOR directives could be under the status report from the
Assessor.
Yep.
assessor.
Yeah,
That
because
way,
it comes up anyway.
it does. We start talking about it and go, oh crap, we've already spoken about it.
Yeah, kind of the same thing.
So I didn't mean crap.
Well, I'm hoping for our
That's
next
okay.
meeting, Rena has this binder. Ron is actually working in Everett as the interim.
The town of Everett has put together a rather lengthy book full of policies and procedures.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I
So-
think we should adopt every one of them
Yeah.
until we see them.
The only thing, it was funny because we went through it today and they don't have chapter land out there, so there was nothing for chapter land. So automatically we said, oh no, we need
Oh my gosh. I'll
we need
have
the
to-
chapter land, so we automatically added that in. But no, it's I mean, it's a big thick binder, so hopefully next time I'll have that.
And do they have it electronically?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't have electronically. I'm actually going to see him
You're
on
gonna
the
have to
23rd.
codify it electronically.
Why doesn't he have it electronically? He
I
had to
don't
type
know.
it up.
I don't know. I'll ask him. I'm going to see him at the conference.
It's not
so-
typed on a
Is he
typewriter.
planning
Yeah.
to turn it in as a book?
Somebody,
I don't.
wow.
It's gonna be the next Pearson masterpiece.
I feel lucky enough to get the
No,
book.
actually, my son-in-law is an attorney,
Yeah.
and one of his professors made a lot of money by writing a textbook
Mm-hmm.
and doing updates to the textbook
Yep.
every 3 years.
Yep.
And he has several homes in Florida, a couple in Virginia, 2 up here in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So apparently there's some good money in textbooks, and this is almost like a textbook.
Yeah. That's
So-
what I'm saying. Next Pearson masterpiece.
Anyway,
No, he did a great
I
job.
think I digressed.
Yeah. It's okay. Just makes me think I need to get into writing a textbook.
Yes.
You would be great at
Well,
that.
the problem with textbooks now is everything's online.
It is, yeah.
So if it were something that you could send out for,
I'd rather be an editor.
print to, well,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Anyway,
Speaking of
I already
books
wrote a book.
and manuals, we did get a cost manual for the office. We didn't have a cost
So-
manual.
Yes, that's right. I remember this
And
conversation.
I'm sorry I didn't
For
bring
those
it.
people who are watching, it's a
Yes.
cost manual basically gives people a sense of how much it costs to build virtually anything.
Yeah.
And it's how many pages? 250,
It's a-
300 pages?
It's yeah, it's about that. And it has both residential and commercial.
Right.
We are trying to get more costs for the commercial because that's an area that we have both residential backgrounds. We need something to
Well,
help us with, to
And
assist
again,
us.
for anybody watching, we do the value of your properties based upon sales.
It is.
Historical sales.
Yeah,
And, it's a couple of years back, and it may be a year, it may be a year and a half, maybe 2 years, whatever. So there's a period of time, but it's based upon sales. But for most much commercial stuff, especially when you first introduce the commercial building, how do you value it?
Yeah.
And you have to really get a pretty good idea how much it costs to build the thing to get an idea, how to go about valuing it. So the cost book is, I think, quite important for us to. And how much did it cost?
it was $514. But
So-
the great thing about it is that it has a multiplier in the back. So it has Massachusetts, and it has
It has lots of different communities, so
Yeah.
it has Fitchburg.
Understand
So
the
you
cost
have-
of
So
labor.
any cost of things happening in Fitchburg are probably about the same as happening in Lunenburg. So that multiplier would work for us, I think.
Yeah.
We're not Brockton, we're not
No.
Boston, we're not Pittsfield, but we're pretty close to Fitchburg as far as what the cost of labor would be, materials would be, et cetera. So I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, so.
That's
so we-
That's very
Yeah.
forward-thinking of you.
Yes.
Well, I was just amazed, we either could get Marshall and Swift, that's costly. So at least it's something that we have and it'll assist us with,
So Marshall and Swift, well, I'll let you explain what
Yeah,
marshal and
it's a
score.
cost manual, and every year
They update it,
they update it, and you have to change the pages in it, so
and you pay a fee for it on
You
an
do.
ongoing
See,
basis.
textbook.
I think it's expensive.
It's a lot
This,
like that.
I used to use this RS means when I was appraising, and it was great because I had to do the cost approach.
Yep.
So this version just has the residential and commercial into the book, and it's got the multiplier. It's very easy to understand, and that's what I like about it is, you pretty much, you go to the single family home, it's got the square footage, it has the siding, it kind of has everything incorporated in it, the plumbing, all that, and then if you had a garage and different components with the house, if it's a multifamily, just, there's a section where you can add that, if it's like 2 units, and then you just go to the back of the book, find, Massachusetts, Fitchburg, we probably would use Fitchburg as our multiplier, and that gives us, if we needed a cost. And we have, Vision actually determines our cost based on our sales.
Well, when we go out and do an inspection
Yeah,
of a new property,
yeah,
Vision's not doing anything for us at that
they're
point.
not, and,
So we need to know how to go about valuing that
Yeah.
For
property.
that new property for new growth.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we can accurately assess the value.
sometimes we have items that are not in the cost, like a generator or, and I have a complex property that I'm working on right now that, it's a commercial property.
This is the one with the car wash that was really a shed with a
Oh,
hose?
no, that one,
That was hilarious.
remember that night?
The car wash that's really a shed with a hose.
But we
I've
have,
had many a car wash there.
actually, in this book, we do have a cost for a car wash. So I had a car wash, cost it out. But it's just sometimes you come across this stuff, and the difficulty is I can call other assessors,
Yeah.
and I did call an assessor in Drake about this one property that I'm looking at. And it just is difficult because she has it listed differently, and the items that she has aren't what I need. So I said, you know what, I think we just need a cost manual, and when I go to this class on the 23rd, I would love it if they had some kind of an intro type commercial assessing, because
You don't know what's on the agenda yet, do you?
I do actually.
Oh.
Battery, there's gonna be a whole
On battery.
discussion about battery storage units, which
That's
is
good.
something that we're gonna need
Yeah.
to.
That's really gonna be a thing in Mass.
It is, yeah. It's mandatory, so that's on the agenda, and then there's some other items, and the DOR is always there, so
Mhm.
it's great, but,
Good.
but it's funny, when we did go out to that property, and we had to deal with that car wash, even the paving, like we have to measure the asphalt, the lights, the sign, so all that stuff
Right,
Yeah.
is all incorporated in that,
right,
Mhm.
so.
cool.
It's interesting. We both, Denise and I both, we enjoy it.
Good.
Okay. Did you have anything else?
That's it.
Just, upcoming meetings. We're gonna leave ourselves open for the possibility that we might need to come together for that 41A. You were suggesting there might be something else that we wanna add in if we were to have a second meeting, but I don't want it to be a full,
Yeah.
it's in all likelihood going to be an open meeting, not an executive session. There's no need for an executive session unless we're talking about particulars around the properties, some very private particulars around the property. So, which leads me to another discussion, a quick discussion, which is I spoke to town council on both 41A,
Mhm.
the one that we were talking about, and the 61A.
Mhm.
On 41A, if we're talking about the status of the application, we can talk about it in public forum. If we're talking about the contents, especially any private contents of the application, including the address,
Yeah. It should be.
we would possibly have to go into. But he said the law isn't clear,
Hmm.
and unless it says you can go into executive session, you probably should not go
Okay.
into executive session.
Hmm.
So that was on 41A. On 61A, the question was around liens, discussion of liens.
Yeah,
Is that public session or executive session? His take was that there's nothing private about that. That is a business transaction between the town and the property owner. And therefore, any lien discussion
It's public.
can take place and should take place in a public forum.
okay.
So whether it's is there a lien on 61B too? Yeah, well, I guess there
Yeah.
must be.
Yeah.
There are
Is
things.
there a lien on a regular
61?
61?
Yeah,
Their forestry
Yeah.
does have a
That's a
A
lien
lien,
as well?
yeah.
So if,
any open space.
if,
is in chapter 60.
right, if there's any issue about liens, that should be discussed in open meeting.
Okay,
So I want to make sure and do that during our
I'll
open
keep
meeting.
that in mind, yeah.
Now, on these rollback taxes for these properties here,
Still
then
business.
obviously
It's
can
still a
be-
business
still
transaction,
business,
yeah. We should,
open meeting is fine,
Yeah.
yep,
yeah.
yep. And we didn't mention any specific
No, I mean,
addresses or anything, but we could. And I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah,
In fact, based upon the conversation with the town council, we should go right ahead.
yeah. So with that in mind, this parcel I saw is on your way to Cherry Hill. They're bulldozing
I did see that today.
in more than one location.
Do you?
Down Kilburn,
Yep, and then as you turn down the road that Cherry Hill is on.
Lancaster Ave. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Leominster Road.
Leominster Road, there's another dig out.
Yep. And
I
and
did-
there's a for sale sign on it.
Yeah,
So is
So-
that on the corner of Leominster Road and is it Kilburn?
Kilburn.
Yep.
I saw that today.
And it's pretty sizable.
Well, they've done
They're
some
making,
work.
they're making a platform, yeah.
They're looking platform for a home.
Mhm. Two.
And there's a sale for, is there two?
Mhm.
There's a
Wow.
for sale sign down there, so we need to go.
One of them's definitely bigger than the other.
Okay.
But
I'm wondering if that's the property that's sold.
I couldn't
Well,
tell you.
was that Lancaster? Leominster Road?
Leominster Road.
That's the
Oh,
one.
that one?
Guaranteed.
It's, there's two of them. One is
That we were
Leominster
waiting-
and the other's on,
Kilburn?
The one that we were
Sunny-
waiting on to
Sunny
hear
Hill.
back.
Oh, that Sunny Hill has got nothing to do with this
but
one.
No.
Leominster Road is one of the properties.
Yep.
Mm.
So
And
I
that
don't
one-
know.
That's
if
the one they're working on now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If the town's, well, we find out if we have any standing.
Yeah.
yeah.
If we have no lien, I don't know what we do,
I don't know.
other than,
Well, it doesn't stay in chapter, that's for sure.
well, no, can we go back and claw back some taxes?
Yeah,
Probably not.
I don't think, it's a huge parcel.
Well, most of it's not. You can't do anything with most of it.
Actually, I have that.
I haven't been following planning, so I don't know. It'll depend on if planning decides it's a
Is that
buildable
now?
lot.
The rest of it?
Yeah.
There's one buildable lot clearly down on
And if,
Kilburn.
and if they subdivide it, and somebody in planning has said it's a buildable lot, and they can't get to it because it's a wetland, but it's sold as a buildable lot, then they're allowed to build a driveway over that wetland.
This is the,
It happened on the street to me already.
this is the map of the plan for that property. I'm not sure if it's the same one.
But that, I mean, that's not up to you.
I don't know if
Correct.
that's,
Yeah, so, I don't see Kilburn.
This is Sunny Hill, that's flat.
Yeah,
That's,
that's Leominster Road.
so it's not there.
It's not this.
okay.
Yeah, this is a different
All
property.
right, I have, just,
Well, actually, let me look one more time.
Sunny Hill, if you flip it over,
There's West Street, Sunny Hill, yeah, it's not there.
it's way further up.
That's way-
It's
it's
out
way
here
further up,
on
yeah.
Leominster Road.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
You're
3/4 of a mile or
you're almost in
something.
Leominster.
okay. So,
That's a different
Well-
spot.
If you were to go to Cherry Hill, you know where that is,
I know where
right?
that is. I
You
have
will
to
see,
say,
you will see.
I do like Kimball's.
And there's that house, I don't know
Oh,
if it's
no,
still
keep it
there.
in town.
There's a house on the corner of Kilburn that has a bunch of skeleton, Halloween skeleton
Oh.
Stuff still up, yeah.
Really?
Well,
It's
I
cool.
haven't looked recently.
But that's on the
It
other
was a
corner.
very cool display, I would keep it all year.
Yeah. Huh. I'll have to make a trip down
Any further comment from the public? Is there anybody from the public still on? the
No
Zoom?
one has actually shown up on this, so hopefully
I don't know. if
hopefully we're
that
doing,
works.
we're recording properly and.
Oh,
we're seeing
shoot.
it. What?
What?
For Zoom, do we have to hit record? I don't know if we did. It didn't ask us.
Didn't ask us, and no one has.
That's okay. We'll have the,
Getting the back of my head
Official.
the entire time.
I know. I know. There's no public, any further board comment?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't forget something, because there's something I was going to do at the end of the board, but I think I did it earlier. Yep, the means tested.
Okay.
Yep, I did. So I have no further comment. You have a motion to adjourn.
I do.
I will second that at 8:29. 8:20. You have 29 on yours?
Yeah.
Wow, this is actually,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's shut this down.
Till next Zoom.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.